Welcome to the Parenting Roundabout podcast. I'm Terry Morrow.
And I'm Catherine Haleko.
Every Thursday, we're bringing you a library find, a pick from our archives, and a parenting or pop culture tidbit or two. Let's start with Catherine's library find of the week.
So this week's library find is one that's dear to our heart. It is called Little Red and the Big Bad Editor. Ah! On the cover, it says Little Red and the Big Bad Wolf, but Wolf is crossed out.
Oh, no.
And it says editor. It is by Rebecca Kraft Rector and illustrated by Shanda McCloskey. And it is, yet another fractured fairy tale take on Little Red Riding Hood. She has received her cape, her little red cape, yes, as a gift from her grandmother, and she scribbles a quick thank you note and then decides to hand deliver it, which doesn't make sense to me, but that's how this whole plot gets started. So we have to go with it.
We don't ask too many questions.
Yes, exactly. The wolf, just as he's about to, take a bite, reads this letter. It's like, this won't do. You've got all kinds of problems here. And so he starts editing her work. And this is how she keeps herself alive.
Outsmarting the big bad editor.
That's right. So... It's pretty cute.
Yep.
And it caught my attention,
Well, when I was a writer, I would have thought this was perfectly appropriate. But now, as an editor, I'm like,
yes,
I'll feel very wolf-like.
Exactly.
Red is outsmarting me quite a lot. Mm-hmm. We don't care about those mistakes. Nobody cares about that stuff. Right. Don't worry about that.
Why are you paying me to care then?
Here, we've redone the style book, and all the things that used to think were wrong are now okay. Hey!
Yes.
There are standards.
Yes. Exactly.
Someone does care about standards. I'm feeling like OSIP right about now in front. Like
the old regime.
You will be stamped out. You will be sent away.
Excuse me.
Be afraid.
Yeah.
For clinging to what you felt was correct.
Or life is changing. Yes.
All those pieces of punctuation you slew are coming back.
And they want revenge.
Yes. Oh, well. But cute idea.
But I thought this was charming.
When you are the copy editor at what is the publisher here?
Simon and Schuster.
When you are a Simon and Schuster copy editor, somebody in a cubicle somewhere, or maybe at a big workspace, and you are given this book to copy edit.
Right.
I'm a little afraid to.
Right. Are you trying to tell me something?
Does this make me a wolf? Oh dear. Yes, tread carefully.
Yes.
Red Riding Hood. She looks pretty mean there on the cover. She's going to have your job, kiddo.
Yeah. So I thought it was
cute idea, though, and certainly one that hits home on this particular podcast.
That's right. So I had to share.
Well, for my random recommendation, a few weeks ago, I think I suggested a couple of movie games, and now I am suggesting another game-like movie item that is on Substack. It's called Movie Fight Club. And every week there's a question like, as we're recording this, the question is, what is the best movie that is set primarily or pivotally on an airplane? And then people in the comments make their suggestions, and you can vote by liking the ones that you want to vote for. And at the end of the week, whoever has the most likes gets to pick the question for the following week. And it's really fun. Lately, there has not been as much traffic as there has been in the past. So I want to put a word out. If you like movies, and if it sounds like coming up to answers to movie questions like that, and then voting sounds fun to you, give it a look. It's to comment. So in other words, to vote on something, you can get a free membership. That's a free subscription to vote. If you want to be able to propose things, it's $1 a month or $6 a year. So very inexpensive to become a part of this community that is having fun with movies. And, while you're on Substack, you could then go and read my Substack, which is completely free for the moment, because the only people subscribed to it are my personal friends, and I don't want to charge them money. So come on down. Get in while the getting is good.
That's right.
Read my random musings, which I will also put a link to in the show notes. But Movie Fight Club, it's fun. Come join us. Punch us in the nose. Come on with your movie picks. And so what were we fighting about in the archives?
Well, 3 years ago, we were talking about unexpected back to school advice. So not just, buy the stuff that the teacher asks for and don't try to get a generic substitute. That advice is well known. But we were talking about some a little bit more obscure things that we've learned through hard won experience.
Oh, it's so far in the past now, isn't it? Not for you so much, but for me.
Yes.
I don't have the whole year is just the same. There is a back to school in my house, and that is that my husband works for a college. So he works in food service, so he's off for the summer when there are no students to feed, and then he goes back right about now. So, I'm making sure he has his back to school wardrobe, and he's got pencils and a nice lunchbox. No, we're not doing any of those things. But and my kids now are at that glorious time where they're just working. They're working on jobs that go all through the year. Nothing seasonal, so nothing changes. It's wonderful. This was always such a problem when my kids were in school, that they like routine. And so the transition out of school and into summer, and then out of summer and into school, and maybe in between into camp and out of camp, it was always just, as much as I hated dealing with the school, it's at least an unbroken period of time in which they're doing pretty much the same thing.
Right.
So now it's just undifferentiated.
It is an unbroken period of time. Yes. Now it is that unbroken period that you were looking for.
Yes, exactly. There's also the issue of we live next to a high school, so we have this idyllic summer of no traffic on our street, and then once school starts up again, there's people parking in front of my driveway, and it's impossible to turn out twice a day. But,
and you get the announcements from the loudspeaker.
Right, yeah, we can hear the loudspeaker from next door, and just all sorts of delightful things come from living next to a school. But in terms of my children having to deal with them, no. So I could probably think of some good tips. I don't know if they're the ones that I said the last time, but what you're much closer to, you still have kids in college, which is a back to school thing.
Yes.
And not that far from high school.
No, it's funny because, I'm on the Facebook parent groups for the two colleges that my kids are at. And
oh my gosh, there are Facebook parent groups for the colleges. Of course there are.
Oh, that's for adorable. The parents.
Yes,
for the parents specifically.
Parents groups.
Yeah.
That's adorable. I would be so all over that.
Yes. Well, and, now is the time when all of the parents of all the freshmen are spiraling because it is, and it's every day. Like, is there, what are the exact measurements of the window? Because my kid needs blackout curtains and I don't know, and then is there any lockbox or safe to put their valuables? And that people are commenting I don't know, my kid never even locked his door, and somebody posted do you think that this battery operated ceiling fan would be okay. Like, no, it wouldn't. Like, are window air conditioning units allowed? No. Like,
this must be the funnest thing to be the parent of a kid who's been in college for a while, talking down all these new parents.
Yeah, I just kind of like roll my eyes and move on. I'm like, I'm not even, you know.
Do people hold them by the hand and pat them on the head, or do they say, "Listen, dummy, your kid's in college now. Cut it out."
It's a little of both.
Stop the rotors.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely both. I mean, some of it's like just answering the question. Mm-hmm. Some of it's like, you know, gently saying like, maybe let the kid figure this out for themselves. Some of it's like very dismissive. So, you know, you get kind of all of it among the comments. You know, it's Facebook. That's yes. what you're going to always get. So, but yeah, like the battery operated ceiling fan, like, oh goodness. You know, and someone did comment like, that's a good way to cut somebody's head off or whatever, right. You know?
Oh,
like,
dear.
No, you can't be doing that. So. Oh,
man. That's so fun.
Yeah, and my son the other day was like, you know, we were talking about, I said, you know, like, it's coming up, like, you know, I think it was 2 weeks it'll be 2 weeks from today or whatever. He's like, oh, and I said, what are you're not
gone?
Excited about going back? He's like, I just don't want to pack and then unpack. Oh, you know, that's the part that he's kind of like, not that thrilled about.
That's a life skill, friend.
Mm-hmm. I mean, some of it was never unpacked, so
well, that's one way to do it.
From the spring, you know, like, I mean, there's stuff that he definitely wasn't going to need all summer. So it mostly stayed where it was. So that part's done. But yeah, there will definitely be packing to take care of.
Right. But no ceiling fans.
No, he's not going to be bringing a ceiling fan.
You're just going to go there with like a drill and put this thing up in the ceiling?
Well, it's the person, whoever posted it said, yeah, like it was light enough that you could just use like command strips. I was like,
Oh, that sounds perfectly safe. Yes. Here's this whirring thing that could fall down from the ceiling at any time.
Right.
Oh, man.
I know. So...
I want them to be hot.
And even my son was saying how, like, I guess they're over full, the dorms right now. Yeah. So they have turned some lounges into rooms with like 2 bunk beds, like 4 people in a lounge. He's like, oh boy, that's and
freshman though, right? They wouldn't do that to well, he's only a sophomore.
It's not him. Yeah, he's just, but you know that it's in a building where it's all suite style, so they don't have like hallway restrooms. Right. They don't have like big shower rooms. Uh-oh. So they are like giving them keys to other people's rooms to use the bath. So that sounds like the worst part of it. Yes. Not the 2 bunk beds in the but yeah, so
oh boy.
So yeah, my advice to you is get your housing assignment early so you don't get stuck in a place like that.
Definitely. Oh my
goodness.
Yes. So, yeah,
well, and just I mean, this is not unexpected advice, but like don't bring as much as you think you're gonna need.
You can always get more.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard. It's hard to know when you're a kid.
And when
it seems important.
And when you ask for advice, you know, it's like I can go ahead and say, you know, oh, well, my kid never used X or Y, you know,
right
item. But then your kid might be the one who really does need that thing.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. Oh my gosh, that Facebook group must be so lit. I'm remembering the one I think I've talked about before for the college, like the community college my kids went to.
Yeah.
Had a page where you could ask questions and stuff, and it was all kids going, "It's snowing. Does that mean there's no school? Is there school today? We have to drive. It's not safe to drive. Is there school?" And this one poor person who I never found out who it was because I wanted to give them like a large tip had to just keep going, "Yes, there's school. Yes." Right. Where people pay us to come here, we really have to have classes. Yes, there's school. So that would be, I bet that person at one point just wanted to
oh my gosh.
I hope they kept that person. Maybe they rotated people in and out of that job because it was just the same question over and over again with varying degrees of vitriol. But in terms of back to school advice, I don't know if I mentioned this any of the other many times we said that. We address that topic. I'm sure that I did. But if you are a person who has stumbled upon this podcast and has younger kids, even kids in high school, I would say this for, although it's harder in high school. So let's say elementary and middle school. Volunteer at the school as much as you possibly can.
Right.
It's a pain in the butt. You don't want to do it, but it is really worth it for seeing firsthand what's going on, making relationships with staff and people in the school so that you will hear things that you might not hear otherwise.
Right.
Even when your kid's in high school, if your kid's involved in a group, volunteer to help the parent group of that. I mean, I was in the parent group for band. I know you were with your kid with their various things.
Yeah.
It's not going to be your favorite thing to do in most cases, but there are really, really, really benefits from it, I think.
Yeah.
That far outweigh the inconvenience and annoyance. Yes, PTA meetings are excruciating, but you want to go to them and you want to see who's talking and you want to see what they're talking about and you want to be able to discuss it with other people and you want people to see you. They want, I mean, I felt for my kids, visibility was a big issue. And so people knew their mother. So, for better or for worse. They weren't just anonymous kids that nobody really knows who they are. They were known. And so especially if your kids are in special ed, I would recommend it because oftentimes those kids do just get very anonymous in the building. If not with the staff, then with other parents. We never know. They never volunteer for anything. Their parents, we never know who they are,
Right.
Be that person. Just be in everybody's faces as much as possible. Work in the library, which is what I always did. When they have the book fair, go volunteer at the book fair. You get to see every class come through. That's what that teacher looks like. I got it. But it's really helpful. So when my kids started in school, I was like, I have 2 kids with disabilities. I don't have time to do that stuff. I can't possibly do that. In the evening, I have to be home and doing this. I really resisted it. And then once I started doing it, I was like, oh, well, this is important.
Right.
This is worth it, the sacrifice.
Yeah.
So it's back to volunteer season, y'all.
Yes.
Sign up.
It sure is.
Sign up everywhere you can. Be a class mom. You get everybody's phone numbers. It's great.
They
still have class moms. I wonder if they still have them because now here anyway, they have like an automated snow day phone call.
Yeah, I mean, when my kids were in elementary school, so that's, been a little bit, but
not as long ago as me though.
Yeah. I mean, there was like a parent who was like that class's sort of representative to the PTA. But then in terms of like who's throwing the parties or whatever, it wasn't always the same person. Okay. It was sort of a group effort.
For ours, it was pretty much snow day phone calls and party planning.
Yeah.
And something else.
We did have parents who volunteered in the classroom as well.
Yeah. There was that as well, and definitely do that. I remember one year my daughter had just been mainstreamed into a classroom, and it was very tense. The teacher didn't like me. I didn't like the teacher. The kids were not sure what to make of her and the other special ed kids who were in the class. And I went one time to read. Parents could come in and read once every so often. a guest parent would come in and read. And I came in and did that, and I got to see everybody, and the teacher kind of was grudgingly grateful that I was there. And I felt like it made a difference that everybody, oh, this is not just this strange girl. Oh, her mother came in and read. That was really funny, the book she read. I read, what did I read? There's The Scrambled States of America. Do you know that book?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And they enjoyed it. So just a stupid little thing like that, which you look at it and you go, oh, gosh, I don't want to do it. Just go do it. Pretend like you're going back to school too and have all the things you're telling your kid. Come on, it'll be great. You can do it. It'll be hard, but you can do it. Say those things to yourself and get your butt in that building. I feel like now more than ever.
If you need to make yourself one of those special signs and post it on Instagram, we are going to support you. So
yes,
do it.
Absolutely. Thank you for listening. You can find all our episodes on Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can find recaps, links, and an opportunity to comment on our website at parentingroundabout.com.
You can also talk to us on our Facebook page, on Instagram, or on Twitter, where you'll find us at Roundabout Chat. And please visit our Amazon shop at amazon.com/shop/mamatude, where you can find links to a lot of the things we've talked about over the years.